avant-garde.
All right, welcome to Torture Garden. I'm Jimmy,
I'm Scoot.
and we're gonna do some more freeform shit. So I
Freeform
don't know.
jazz.
Scott,
We are going to. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do some free improvisation. I'm going to mimic John Zorn's saxophone playing with my
please
mouth,
do.
and
I
you are
do
gonna
love
you are
this.
gonna make some Milford Graves-esque percussion noises.
I don't know if I can do that, but I do want to hear the Zorn impression.
God, now you made me see. I don't want to do it because I'm going to do it in the microphone. It's going to sound awful. But
I don't care. Do
next time, usually like when I want to annoy Lauren, I'll just go
Scoots,
like,
do it.
I'll go like I'll just do random like
There you go.
like full like closed lip fart noises, and she'll be like, I think I told you this story at one point, but you know that album Utilitarian by Napalm Death.
Yeah.
There's one song on there called Everyday Pox,
Yeah,
I think,
that has
where
him on
Zorn's
sax.
on it. And I was listening to it while I was showering one day, and the sax part comes on, and I was like, "Sweetie, who's that?" And she was like, "John motherfucking Zorn." And I was like, "Hell yeah, it is." Yeah, she John Zorn, when he gets like all, crazy with the sax, that is the only music she's ever asked me, like, "Yeah, I can't listen to this." The only thing where she's like, "Yeah, I can't stomach this. We have to listen to something else," which I guess is a distinct honor.
You should play like the first two classic guides to strategy.
I don't know if we'd still be together, honestly.
Oh, man. Well, like just specifically the tracks where he's just like dipping it into a bowl of water. So you're just hearing,
Yeah, I think she'd really appreciate that.
Yeah.
She didn't mind The Gift.
Oh yeah,
I had that
gift's
on
pretty
once.
good.
Obviously, that's not like what typical Zorn saxophone.
Yeah, I never asked. What did you think of that?
Which one?
The Gift. The Gift. Like I don't think we ever talked about that before.
I liked it. It was interesting. I think one of the things I love about Zorn is at a bare minimum, his albums are interesting. They're intriguing to listen to. With The Gift, I really didn't enjoy it. It was what?
You didn't enjoy it?
I really did enjoy it. I'm sorry. I
okay.
can't speak. It's just enunciation is not a strong suit, apparently. But yeah, I really liked it. It was a little, and this, I don't mean this negatively. I guess it was a little softer than I thought it was.
Oh, it definitely is.
I went into it not knowing anything about the genre or whatever. Pretty much every Zorn release, except obviously when I bought the string quartets, it was kind of hard to not know what that was.
Yeah.
But I like going kind of like when I bought Lacrosse. I went into it specifically like not knowing anything about it. I just whenever I see cheap used Zorn, I'll always buy it without fail, just to see what it's about. And I like that. I like how I can buy a Zorn project and A, be guaranteed something that's interesting, and B, get something completely different. Like for example, when there's a cool record store back home in New Hampshire called Pitchfork Records. It's in Concord. And I found this chamber music album based on Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman.
On Leaves of Grass.
It's called On Leaves of Grass. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And I loved that the packaging was gorgeous. And I bought it, and it was really cool. And
I
had
actually
no idea.
haven't listened to that yet.
It's pretty subdued. I think there's one track with some interesting electronics on it, but I really like it. It's really chill, really nice, really pleasant.
Well, the only reason I haven't is because the lineup on that is pretty similar to like some of his Gnostic trio albums.
Oh, okay.
And I just feel like whenever he has a bunch of those Gnostic players in an album, I feel like there isn't much variety to what he does.
It's definitely very samey. I mean, it's kind of a good samey in a way where like it's a good thing throughout the entire thing. It doesn't get boring, but it is pretty much kind of what you're getting is what you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get some more of his stuff at some point when I have some money, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think about what to even get.
Yeah, I don't know if I told you this, but did I tell you I got Rituals by him? Apparently, it's like an opera.
Oh, you did? Yeah, I have Rituals. Yeah,
I haven't listened to it yet. I got it in pretty recently, and
definitely let me know what you think of that, because I was expecting more of like an actual like opera type of thing, but you have to I forgot that it's motherfucking Zorn we're talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
So it's not going to be like that at all. Like I'm pretty sure there's like a fan machine in it. Like I'm pretty sure somebody plays a fan.
That's interesting, as you do on an avant-garde album.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You put in interesting new instruments.
So it's an interesting listen. I'm so divided on his classical stuff. It's like on one end I really like some of the classical stuff. Like Kol Nidre is like just like one of the most amazing pieces of music I've ever listened to. But then like on like that same string quartets album, I think pretty sure like Memento Mori is on that, and like that's not a bad track. It's just like I don't know, like I feel like a lot of his classical stuff can get a little samey like that it's sort of like this riotous, chaotic, atonal nonsense that sort of goes everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And
yeah, and it definitely it hits differently than you doing free improv or free jazz, within a ensemble, so sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's interesting. Like I think the first track on that string quartets album, it's really wonky and kind of sounds like that's actually, you had said to me that he is really influenced by cartoons.
Yeah.
And then in that track, I think I bought it afterward. There was some straight up like I was waiting for Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote to like pop in or whatever.
Yeah, you go.
I was gonna say like I kind of thought it was fun. It was interesting.
It is interesting, but when you hear enough of it, like I feel like if I had some sort of better grasp on music theory, I think maybe I would enjoy it a little more, because I think he's actually playing a lot of tributes to a bunch of different composers during that. At least that's what I've heard. That like actually the track you're talking about on string quartets, which I'm pretty sure is Memento Mori, I think he actually includes Webern tributes on it. Anton Webern, who is a really good composer, worth checking out. His music's really interesting. But yeah, I've always, I don't know why his classical stuff has always confused me. But it was weird because like last week I had Magic on, which is another one of those like string.
Yep. That's a really cool one. Yeah, I have that one too.
And I actually really like that one. Like the very last track is like two bass clarinets. It's like a bass clarinet duo. And it's really, really interesting. So I mean, maybe it's more like it's like I need to give myself more of a break, sort of, and just keep listening to it, keep powering through, like a big boy. But
like a big boy,
like a big Zorn listening boy. Oh my god! You know what I've been listening to nonstop lately is you ever listen to Red Right Hand by Nick Cave?
No, I my Nick Cave listening is severely
we talked about this last time. Yeah, you definitely need to fix that, because I need someone else to like nerd out about Nick Cave. Like one of my friends here is like really, really into like Throbbing Gristle and like Psychic TV and like all this weird, like he can tell you like every single Steve Albini project and like things like that. But he hasn't listened to Nick Cave before. So I'm like, I need somebody to nerd out with. Yeah.
Well, actually, the local mall here just opened up like this weekend, a Newbury Comics.
Yeah, it's the first Newbury Comics in New York. I'm pretty sure too.
And I'm really, really excited about that, obviously. And they're having like a 25% off everything sale. So Lauren and I are going to go tomorrow, and Nick Cave is one of the people I'm going to be looking for on the list, along with The Cure, as well.
Like what era Cure?
Really, whatever they have.
I thought you had some of their stuff already.
Well, that's what I just randomly out of nowhere I picked up Disintegration, which I love that album. I've listened to it many, many, many times.
Yeah, Disintegration's great.
I think it's one of those things where I'll randomly get a song from an album I own in my head, and I'm like, oh, I gotta listen to it now. Like Love Song. Like randomly that song pops in my head, and I was like, oh, I want to listen to Disintegration. But I'd love to get Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me.
That's really good. Pornography is really
great.
Good.
Whatever they have. I'm interested to see what the dynamic's going to be, because it's a totally new store. So I don't know if they shipped in used product from another store or if it's all going to be new.
That's a good point.
Because I know sometimes they do shuffle around,
Yeah.
whatever used product and whatever. So we'll see. Hopefully it's not just all 100% brand new stuff, because then obviously
I have a feeling that if it's going to be brand new stuff, you're not going to find any new Nick Cave aside from like Skeleton Tree.
Yeah, probably.
Which, I mean, Skeleton Tree is great.
Skeleton Tree is a fantastic
album. But I mean, like, keep on the lookout for Let Love In. That is just a fucking amazing album. Okay. But Henry's Dream as well is really good. Was it Orpheus's Lyre / Abattoir Blues is really good too. They freaking I've been just like Nick Caving it up.
I was gonna say, you just list off like 5 albums, like nothing.
There's something like just like when I was earlier today, I was like walking to get some lunch, and just like I put on the first track off of Let Love In. And just like the way he delivers his vocals is just like just evil darkness, like, and it's just like it's almost creepy to listen to, but it's like, and then combined with the lyricism, it is just like it just sort of blows me away every single time, especially with Henry's Dream. Like the first track off of that is like the same thing, that like I just keep getting all of them stuck in my head. Because like I just find them so interesting, like I just, and some of the lyrics, some of the ways he phrases things, like and the sky pissed down upon me and washed me all away. Like I love that. Like I love that turn of phrase. That's just a great way to put it. And like I've been doing that a lot. I've been trying to still get through my iPod. That like that playlist I was telling you about. That's like 1,500 songs. I'm maybe halfway through. I'm listening to Animals for the first time in like a long time.
Oh, by Pink Floyd?
Yeah.
That's a super... I mean, well...
It is.
It's not like... I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's not underrated because like...
I think it is.
It is, but like those four... start Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, The Wall, Animals. Like that's kind of like... I feel like those are the 4 Pink Floyd albums everyone knows. I think Animals ranks at the bottom in terms of what people are aware of, but especially because
mostly it's like Dark Side of the Wall.
Yeah, especially with that iconic photograph with the fact they had the pig flying above the people I think would recognize that.
Yeah. Speaking of, did you happen to check out Anthony Fantano's live stream the other night?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Because he was actually, somebody asked him what he thought, like what his favorite Pink Floyd album was, and he went on this huge tangent saying that Dark Side of the Moon was like the most overrated Pink Floyd album.
When did he mention that in another video? Yeah, where he said that, and I forget what the fuck did he mention.
Well,
that?
I'm wondering.
What do you think about that, because someone just real quick, because he did that thing where it was like a hot take thread. Did you watch that video on Twitter? And he mentioned that. I think overrated is kind of an interesting word. Not to get too deep into this rabbit hole, but. I don't know. I guess it depends how you classify overrated. I think it's a great album, and I assume he probably. I mean, I didn't watch it. He probably said it was a good album, but it was overrated. Right?
Yeah, I think he's like it's not like musically it's a great album, but like conceptually there are stronger Pink Floyd albums.
I'd say Wish You Were Here or Animals is probably conceptually and because it's very interesting that. Of those 4, The Dark Side of the Moon is most squarely a rock album, I would say. I think there are a lot more songs on that are just like Money, for example, is basically just like a straight up rock song that could stand on its own.
Yeah, but I mean, all right. So on Wish You Were Here, Have a Cigar is a pretty standard rock song too.
That's true. That's fair.
Or Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 off of The Wall. Or what's that one that you hate off the wall?
What's that one that I hate?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Ooh, I need a dirty woman.
Oh yeah, I don't like that song.
See,
I don't. Thank you for reminding me that I don't like that song, and I don't know what it is.
I love that song, but yeah, there's that.
That's fair. Actually, yeah, they do have quite a number of like single hits on all all those 4 albums. That's a good point.
Yeah, I think when like,
although you know what's interesting about that is that I don't remember, you usually don't hear, like, I think most people consider Dark Side their quote unquote best, but you don't hear as many singles from that, or at least I haven't in my lifetime. I usually hear, especially Brick in the Wall, that song. You hear the song you just referenced that I don't like and I don't know the name of,
which I think I think it's Young Love.
Probably.
I think that's what it is.
And then Comfortably Numb. Like, I've mainly only heard songs from The Wall on the radio growing up.
That's weird because I've heard like stuff from all over. Like I've heard like Welcome to the Machine before on the radio. Wish You Were Here. Let's see. Time of a Dark Side. Like the last 2 tracks off of Dark Side. Money, obviously. But like, they like it's more like about like which radio station it is more than it is like which Pink Floyd songs they play, because I like some of them will play some really interesting stuff. But not like I really don't like modern radio. I can't stand it.
I like, because I like to kind of clean my ear holes with trash pop music. So I like in between listening to NPR and because I'm an old man and like the CDs I have, I like cleaning it out with like dumb dance pop music. I'd say definitely modern rock radio. I don't even know what modern rock radio is. Every single time, and there have been times where I've listened to it for like quite a while. Every single time I go to modern rock radio, it's all old rock music.
Yeah,
like it's not. I mean, there's occasionally, oddly enough, one time I heard the new at the time the new Bring Me the Horizon song.
That's weird.
Which they basically are now an aggro like alt metal rock thing band now anyway, so it makes sense, I guess. But yeah, it's really bizarre because it other than maybe classical music, it's interesting to hear a genre radio that's not doing anything new. And again, I don't listen to it enough to like make a blanket statement that this is exactly what's happening. But every time I go to rock radio, it's always before the 2010s at the most recent, and usually going back to classic rock.
I think it depends because I think there are a shit ton of like oldie stations that will only play like like Eagle songs.
Exactly.
But then like someone like WAF will play like like whatever shit Avenged Sevenfold has dropped.
But they'll even then like they'll play like old Nickelback. Like they'll play old, and occasionally they'll play new stuff. But it's so weird that the difference, especially with pop radio, every single song has come out typically within the last year, and they'll throw in a throwback here and there. But to me, like when I've heard the bulk of rock radio is old music. Yeah. And I wonder what that says about. I mean,
it's pretty obvious. That's sort of where rock is right now in the shitter.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, rock music has all types of good stuff going on, but in terms of what people care about, yeah, it's pretty much.
Well, it's not like it's just like. It's not like there isn't stuff going on. It's just that the stuff that is going on isn't mainstream.
Yeah, or that kind of reminds me. Did you ever listen to the new? And you might laugh when I say this. Have you ever listened to the new Nickelback single?
No, but I actually I was actually gonna say this is gonna kill my credibility, but I actually really like that Nickelback album. But what is it? For All the Right Reasons. I actually really like that album
with the car on it and whatever. Yeah. Like I've never truly. Like I get that their music isn't like phenomenal.
Oh, it's not.
But like I think it's so bizarre how they've been scapegoated as like the one awful rock, and like the worst. Like people literally think that the worst thing to happen to music. Their music's fine.
Really? I mean, it's corporate rock all the way to hell, but it's like, I mean, they definitely aren't like the absolute worst out there because
they're fine.
Like fucking what's his name came out with that horrible album last year. Corey Feldman. Yes, thank you.
Which is amazing to think that he put out like a music album that people listen to, like Corey Feldman from the Goonies.
Yeah. God. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna throw up after this.
yeah.
I
But
but like that, like even like I don't know, like I mean, like anything Future puts out,
I
like
I fuck with a little bit of. I can fuck with a few Future songs, and then I get bored as hell.
yeah, I just like there's always bad music,
Yeah.
like it's like I think Nickelback is just one of many bands, and it does suck how they get sort of like put it
It's
like did they just get like unnecessarily shit on because
it,
it's like
it's just bandwagon hate. You know,
yeah, well
someone somewhere made a meme calling them out
exactly
as awful, and then
it's meme
everyone's
hate.
like, "Oh, we hate them now, cool." And then the whole universe is like, "We hate Nickelback. They're awful." I'm like, oh, okay. But anyway, all that to say,
Yeah.
their new song was like this alternative metal, like dystopian political anthem thing, I guess. Also,
Okay.
they announced their album like wicked far in. Like I forget when they announced.
Yeah,
Like the
I
point when they announced it when it
remember
came out was
that.
like months upon months in advance.
Yeah, it was like it came out like what, like September or something like
Yeah, and
that,
they
and like
announced it in like March or something.
yeah, it
Something
was something
that
really
that
stupid.
dumb. Yeah,
It's sort of like how Fall Out Boy announced their new album, and it's not coming out until like January, February.
I
It's
couldn't
been
even
announced
believe
since like
that.
July.
Yeah, I remember they released that terrible single like
Oh
months
god, that
ago.
single was so bad.
Yeah,
Man,
I don't.
there's another band that like gets shit on a lot, and that like again, like I really like Infinity on High is like legitimately one of my favorite albums ever.
No,
like
they're really. Excuse me while I try to pause my alarm. Yeah, like it's so weird that they get a lot of hate, but it's also weird to me how all these kind of quintessential like alt rock bands have been just going in the weird. You know, you have Fall Out Boy who's gone in this weird electro pop rock direction.
Park.
Linkin Park, yeah. Maroon 5, who I'm not even convinced anyone but Adam Levine is even still in that band. Like their modern music doesn't sound like a band made it. And then you have Nickelback doing I don't know what they're. I mean, that's the thing is that I think the music's fine. I'm not a huge fan, but it's always interesting to me when a band that everyone hates releases a song that's like a little bit above their expectations, and they're like, "This is fantastic." Like people were literally raving about the new Nickelback song, and I was like, "This is fine." Like really, like people are so easy to hate, but also so easy to love. It's really bizarre.
It's because it's not long lasting. It's like
Yeah.
it's just highly fluctuating. It's
It's kind of like do you know the Tony Danza tap dance extravaganza? Do you know that band?
yeah.
So Amir had this big thing where everyone but their lead singer quit the band, which is kind of fucking hilarious.
I remember that, but wasn't that was last year, right?
I think that happened last year, and their new album came out this year.
This year, yeah. Yeah.
And it was weird because everyone, I think, you know, whoever reviewed it for Heavy Blog or whatever, and then people were saying like it's actually really good. They did some interesting stuff. If you didn't like, no one told anyone that the dudes, because the reason I mentioned that is Tony Danza, the people in that band, they had broken up and then they joined Amir, and basically they are the music behind Amir now for whatever reason.
Yeah.
If they hadn't told anybody that they joined the band, you would have no idea. And so, but the people were fucking with it. So I feel like it's one of those things where if you tweak something people don't like in just the right way, for some reason their perception is completely changed. Like if people do something just a little bit different, like for some reason, oh, it's cool now.
It's sort of like it'd be like I don't know, like if like kicked Michael Bay off of like the Transformers franchise and just put like, you know, I like the person who just directed Thor Ragnarok, what's his name, Taika Waititi, I want to say, like people would be like jizzing in their pants,
Yeah,
like, over it.
Exactly.
I honestly, to be fair, I think I sort of would too, because I just like I'm more out of spite to see Michael Bay get kicked off of something. But
oh god.
yeah, yeah, not exactly a not exactly something I'm proud of, but
not exactly a worthwhile human being. No, I'm kidding. Michael Bay does what Michael Bay does.
Michael Bay, whatever.
It's kind of like when people excessively shit on, not to go on too big a tangent, but shit on like the Transformers franchise. It's like, what do you think? Who do you think that like, franchise is for? It's for people who want to see giant robots be like what is the standard of quality for a movie about?
I mean, listen, you can make a good movie. You can like make a good action movie. Like a good action movie doesn't have to be like some huge commentary on the human soul. But like but it like an action movie doesn't have to be like a semi-racist shithole.
Yeah, no, I mean I don't like the Transformers movies at all, but also they're based on a toy line about like vehicles that turn into robots. So like I'm not expecting, but I think most of the the Marvel movies have done that. They've been well-made action movies in my view, at least. They're they're not incredibly deep, but they have at least a plot. They have at least something interesting going on, and it's also the visuals are nice and whatever. But anyway, this was related to music in some way. I'm sure Nickelback's music has been in a Transformers movie. So there you go, full circle.
Probably. I mean, I know Linkin Park. Linkin Park has.
Yeah, what I've done, I'll face myself.
What about that other one too? New Divide. I think that was Transformers 2. Yeah, and then Transformers 3 had a different one too, which off of 1,000 Suns. But I still like that album. I don't care what anybody thinks. I think 1,000 Suns is Linkin Park's best album. Well, no. Meteora is probably a little bit better, but I think 1,000 Suns is just like a solid album.
I think probably Meteora. I would say it's probably their quote unquote best album, like in terms of just balancing everything that they did. I guess.
Oh my god, I can remember because Linkin Park was like one of the bands that like really got me into music.
Yeah, no, it was the first CD I bought my own money. Yeah, Meteora. Yep.
But I remember a friend burned Minutes to Midnight for me, and I was listening to it in my dad's car while he was driving somewhere, and you know the song "Giving Up," like the first real track on the album. And that whole screaming section like put me out of my misery. He like just turned it off like just halfway through that, and like that was like he was like, no, please do not listen to this near me anymore.
That's like, funny.
My god,
it's crazy. It's interesting because like my mom does not like any of the screaming shit, whatever. But she likes she was really sad when Chester Bennington committed suicide, but she doesn't mind when because for her, I guess whatever, like she doesn't mind screaming that's relatively coherent. Well, yeah, a screaming that's like relatively because when Chester sings, you can get what he's saying, and it's not the entire track or whatever. She doesn't like when I put on like today my my girlfriend's family came over. They had a wedding, and when they came back from the ceremony before the reception, I was playing Cattle Decapitation, and they got a actually it was funny when my girlfriend's dad picked up the record. He's like, "Oh, Gentle Decapitation, that's interesting," because he was reading it on the record, and that's what he thought it said. I was like, "Nah, that's Cattle." They were not overly impressed. And then I tried to her mom was like, "This is interesting." I was like, "Okay." So then I put on Nick Drake to try to balance it out, and her brother was like, "This is boring." And I was like, "Oh my god, Jesus!"
Hey, come on,
you can't make anyone happy.
You can't badmouth Nick Drake. Come on, you cannot badmouth Pink Moon. Like,
and then better yet, actually that was the record I had on. Better yet, he was like, "Do you have any do you have any Five Finger Death Punch?" And I was like, "No, I do not. I don't have any of them." It's always interesting when people I remember my dad. I think it was earlier this year. Disturbed put out a new album in 2016. And he was like, did you see that Disturbed put out a new album? I was like, I haven't cared. I didn't tell him this. I was like, I haven't cared about Disturbed. I don't even remember the last year that I cared about Disturbed. And he was like, you should review their new album for the blog. I was like, first of all, it came out over 12 months ago. Second of all, no. I don't want to write about. Because even when I liked Disturbed, it was pretty obvious that after a while their music just was... they just hit. I mean, I think the Sickness and Believe kind of had their own distinctness in a way from each other. Not really, but at least a little bit. At least the Sickness had some unique-ish tracks that were more like hits, whereas the Believe sound the same. Whatever. From 10,000 Fists on, they basically made the same album, and they had the same fucking dude on the cover. The same dude with the hood. So the music sounded pretty much the same, and it was just a different variation of that same cover.
I mean, I think Strickland's a pretty cool song, but I mean,
No, they like, make great songs, but their albums, like, they're basically
it's like AC/DC.
I was about to say
one dimensional as hell.
About to say modern day AC/DC. Like, literally, it's just like tweak some stuff around, and it's weird because, like, their musicians are actually relatively technically proficient.
Yeah,
like, when their guitarist does solos, you can tell he can play. Yet most of their music is super, super simple.
Well, same thing with Dreamy can actually sing.
He can, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and people hated that cover of The Sound of Silence that they did. I thought it was a really good cover.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
I liked it.
I think they're not like. I mean, Fantano, he had this whole thing against it, and I'm like, I totally get that. Like, I get those reasons because, like, you're adding all this noise to a song that's supposed to be very quiet.
Yeah.
But I think it does a good job of showing off that Dreaming can actually sing. Aside from that ape, whatever stuff he does. Besides the
the one thing whenever you mention Disturbed, that's what everyone does.
Yeah. I was thinking of just like that strained way he sings in like every single song.
Yeah, that's true. And then one of my do you remember when he did the worst songs of my adolescence?
Yeah,
he did those videos, and one of them was Down with the Sickness.
Yeah.
And then there's that one part which he called it a domestic abuse solo. And honestly, that part's pretty fucked up. It's pretty bad.
It is a little weird.
Like, it's when you get to it, because I remember for the longest time my parents wouldn't let me, like, they would either fast forward it, and at one point they had a mixtape, like literally like a mixed tape where they had stopped
Disturbed mixtape.
Yeah, they had stopped. It was like a bunch of different, like, hard rock songs. They stopped recording at that part and then picked it back up again. So I never knew what it was. And then when I first got my iPod, I downloaded the version my dad had on to my iPod. I was like, oh, now I get to hear it, and I was fucking mortified. I was in sixth grade. I was like 10, 11 years old, and I'm hearing like this profane, like profanity laden, like abuse solo. I was like, wow, this is sad.
I remember the first time I heard that too. It was like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
But I wonder whether, like, it makes me wonder if it's like partially autobiographical or not.
I'd assume, I'd hope so, because if that was just something that he was like, oh, I'm gonna put this cool little solo in.
Yeah,
but like, I feel like it definitely is rooted in,
it's sort of like that Korn song "Daddy," that like for the longest time they didn't even play that because Jonathan David was such a personal song to him. Yeah, that like he was actually like crying on the record and things like that. And so who knows. That definitely is a weird little bit of the song. I still like that song though. I still do like that song.
I mean, it's a classic 2000s, alternative hard rock, whatever. I mean that, and then Stupefy, Shout.
I mostly just did Down with the Sickness. I think but like Stricken and 10,000 Fists were like. Those were like my jams, like freshman year of high school.
I also loved, speaking of good, they've done some pretty good covers now that I think about it. I really like their cover of Land of Confusion by Genesis.
Oh yeah,
I actually thought that was really well done because it did exactly what a cover needed to do, where it didn't like bastardize the song like some of the cover, like I have a good example of bastardizing, but anyway, it didn't bastardize it, but kind of like did their own thing, whatever. A cover that I don't know how I feel about it, but on the Faceless, did you hear about this?
No.
On their new album, there's
that fucking album cover.
It's not great. It's not a bonus track. It's part of the track listing, as far as I know. They did a cover of "Shake the Disease" by Depeche Mode.
Okay.
And on first listen, I don't know, but
do you remember last year when that first Body Full of Hell a collaboration came out and they covered Leonard Cohen?
I didn't listen to any any really significant amount of that, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, literally one of the songs is a Leonard Cohen cover.
And how was that?
I mean, I've never even heard the original, and really I don't remember that, because like it was just like, it's just, it's the body says.
I honestly wish, because I feel like that's a record I quote unquote should like, given my music taste. Like not as in like, oh, you should like this. It's just in terms of what I prefer. That seems like a record I would enjoy.
I don't know. Just come back to it in a while.
I can't do the vote, but like I've tried. Like I listened to The Body with. I actually reviewed The Body and Krieg, which Krieg's like a pretty relatively well-known black metal band, or like they've been around for a while.
Yeah.
And I reviewed it, and I had no idea who The Body was, and I was like, "What the fuck are these vocals?" And I was like, and then I listened to a few tracks off of The Body Full of Hell, and I was like, "There it is again." And then I listened to The Body, their solo record last year. It was fucking terrible. Like not only I thought the music itself, like the album was bad, but also the vocal. And every time I try, I'm like, I just fucking hate those vocals.
I know with the new Full of Hell Body collaboration that came out just like, I think it was like last week.
Yep.
I put that on, and like within 30 seconds I turned it off, because like
literally exactly the same. I was like, I gotta try this. I like the cover. Apparently they get a little bit weird.
A cool cover.
They get a little bit weirder. I'm gonna try it. And then literally as soon as it got on, I was like, I can't. It's so annoying. It's just it literally sounds like you have headphones on and listening to the track, and like your mom is shouting at you over your headphone. Like that's literally what I think. I think someone in the background is trying to get my attention. That's all it is.
Yeah,
and I just
weird.
can't.
But you know who actually did a really cool cover of a song that you wouldn't expect? Dillinger Escape Plan covered Aphex Twins' "Come to Daddy."
Really?
Yeah, off of the
was it on plagiarism, or was
no, it's off of the album, the EP that they did with Mike Patton, which I can't even remember the name now because I'm a total plebe. But that was a really, really cool cover, like, because like it's still stuck to a lot of it, but like it still had that energy, like, but they added their own energy to it.
Yeah.
But speaking of plagiarism, I actually turned on you know how they did a cover of Massive Attack's Angel off of that?
I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
no.
I tried to listen to that, and I'm like, this is so uninspired.
Yeah.
Like, because it was like I when Dillinger Escape Plan covers something, you want it to be wild.
Yeah.
And like I frankly that's not that important to me, because I like Widower is probably like my favorite Dillinger song, which is really probably one of their softest songs.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more like they just didn't do anything with it. It was just like they just did it with their own instruments. Like, and I think I keep hearing that was the point of the whole plagiarism EP, that they were covering things just as they were supposed to be. Which I don't know. I see. I like when a band can cover something really cool. Like but like sometimes it doesn't always work, because I think there are some songs that can't be covered without just imitating the artist.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, like Queens of the Stone Age covered Tom Waits' "Going Out West."
Mm-hmm.
And like it's a cool cover, but I mean it sounds exactly like the Tom Waits one, except you don't hear that like "Going Out West." Just
but also I do like when people bring their own spin. Like I think I told you when I saw Shoo Shoo live, they played "Sharp Dressed Man" by ZZ Top.
They did,
which was weird, because it was like, what?
My God. I'm looking this up. I'm looking this up. That sounds so cool.
It's very interesting. I mean, it was a good cover. I mean, it was interesting, and it was cool to hear Jamie Curtis's voice, or Jamie Stewart's voice, excuse me, doing it. But I was hoping.
What? So I'm looking at it. This is apparently they had it on Juju and their collaboration album with Eugene Robinson from Oxbow, which I actually have that album. So for some reason I don't remember this at all, which is kind of sucky, because like I love ZZ Top. I love me some ZZ Top.
Yeah. But I mean, it was a cool cover. It was cool to hear Jamie Stewart's vote, but like I kind of wish they did their weirdisms with it. Like I kind of wish they had extrapolated a little bit and done something interesting with it. But I mean, on its own, and it was certainly a shock. You know, I did not expect them to play a ZZ Top cover.
Actually,
in between all their material.
There's a ZZ Top tribute album that has like some insane bands on it, like Coheed and Cambria cover a song.
That's interesting.
Yeah, which I found really. It's a good song. I think it was Just Got Paid, which is a great song. Like early ZZ Top is like really really underrated.
Yeah.
Like because most people think like Eliminator and like Sharp Dressed Man and that type
Yeah.
of stuff, but like when they were like more of like a blues rock band, like holy fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like it was so good. God, I fucking love that. Oh, I don't know if you saw this on YouTube yet, but apparently Tom Waits remixed his album Real Gone and like reinterpreted it, I guess. But like Fantano just did like this huge video about it, and he's not happy about it because he really likes Real Gone. But I actually haven't listened to that album, as strange as that is.
Yeah, I haven't listened to as much Tom Waits as I probably should have. Really really like Swordfish Trombones, really like Rain
Yeah.
Dog. I actually bought. I think I told you this. I don't remember. I bought Bone Machine a little while ago. And I really, really like that. That's a great album.
Bone Machine's cool.
Yeah.
It's probably like out of the ones that I have, it's probably my least favorite. Just because like it's more like because I love all the other ones so much more.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like Swordfish Trombones is probably what's the Nighthawks at the Diner is probably my favorite still.
That's a really good one.
I really like Nighthawks. Just like I have always loved like that jazzy atmosphere,
Yeah.
like that blues smoky kind of like it's like a little dive bar over on 31st Street and 7th,
Yeah.
and you walk in and cigarette smoke pours out of it and people are serving you whiskey and like it's just like it captures that mood so well, and then he's just like he's hilarious on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this line, but he says something like, "I'm so horny, the crack of dawn, but better watch out for me," or something like that. It's like what the fuck? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I texted you. We were at a craft beer bar in town, and like, I think like randomly were we talking about Tom Waits? Oh, like, I sent you a Tom Waits meme, and then we went to the
sent
bar.
me that article,
and then
the guy turns into Tom Waits.
Yeah.
Which,
and then we went. They had it on vinyl, and I was like, "Oh, that's fucking weird. That's sick."
Whoever wrote that Hard Times article, they should actually redo it. So they should do like basically like a rewrite of the Metamorphosis, but instead of Gregor, Samsa turning into a bug, he turns into Tom Waits. Like, because Tom Waits is like a bug. I mean, he's like a filthy insect. Like I love him to death for it.
He's
like,
an interesting fellow.
Did you ever listen to Army Ants?
No.
You like after we were done recording this, you need to turn on Spotify and listen to Army Ants.
I will.
Because it is probably my favorite Tom Waits song. Just because it's just so weird. Like all it is just like this weird like guitar playing as like Waits like narrates this like all these different facts about insects and like but like it's very like performance art, so like just like the way he says things like, and the army ants will leave nothing but your bones. It's just like it just blows my mind whenever I hear it. I just like love the album so much. Just that song, because the album is like it's like one of those B-sides. It's was it Orphans, Bastards, Brawlers, and Ballers, which is like it's like a 3 CD set, so it's long as hell. I do not suggest listening to it in one setting because you won't be able to do it. But it's a cool little collection. I've actually been meaning to pick up some more of his stuff. I think next time I hit a CD store, I'm gonna look for like whatever Tom Waits they have that I don't have. I'm just gonna end up buying it.
Yeah.
Because like his old stuff, like his debut album, doesn't really appeal to me. Every single time I've listened to it, it appeals to me like a little more each time, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like there's something there that I just want to keep digging at. Yeah, there we go. Here's a better analogy than Tom Waits is an insect. Tom Waits is a scab that you want to pick at him as much as you can, and just like you just keep getting deeper and deeper until you're like inside your own arm.
That's a pretty good analogy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's
funny.
pretty much as horrifying as anything you'll hear. Actually,
Yeah.
I have a good Waits story. Way back when I was at another graduate program, I had Rain Dogs on, and that's what maybe it's Swordfish Remotes, but like whatever it is, like my roommate at the time, he was a really good guy. He would listen to pretty much anything I put on, except that was like the one thing he's like, okay, you need to turn this off.
Really?
Like, yeah.
That's
like I mean,
interesting.
like everything else, like
Of
free
all the
jazz,
stuff.
no problem. Yeah. What?
Well, I said of all the things
Yeah.
that would like push him over the edge. Like,
I know, right? I mean, I don't. I mean, he wasn't really much of like a music guy to begin with,
but like,
like
it's to not like to be okay with free jazz, but to not be okay with
well,
like
I think with like jazz, like like it's not as like obtrusive. Like even like free, like I mean, like just considering Tom Waits is like like that really growly voice that he does.
true. That's
Like,
true.
like
Yeah.
I think hearing that can bother a lot of people. Like I know that when I first listened to Rain Dogs, like that it took me a while to get used to it, especially
Sure.
like a lot of the slower tracks, like Anywhere I Lay My Head. Anywhere I lay my head. Just like God. Oh man,
Oh, that's beautiful.
I can still remember the first time I listened to that. It was like that album is great, but
Yeah,
actually,
I remember when you let me borrow Swordfish trombones, and like this is back when I had the Jeep, and I kept it in there like
yeah.
for not nonstop for for I don't even remember how long, but like it was so it caught me off guard. I don't know why. Like, I don't know what I was expecting, because I listened to Rain Dogs back in high school, and like I did not appreciate it at the time. And I forget what I thought about it then, but then when I listen to it now, I was like, wow, this is like so interesting. This is so cool. Like I love how he's approaching like all the genres. He's and like the variety on it and how it still flows. Yeah, like I love that album. In fact, I need to buy that ASAP.
I really want to write a story based on Clap Hands. Like it's like one of those songs that like I just keep listening to it and I'm like, there's a story in there. Like like it just like I just want to dig it out. Like, again, scab metaphor. But
Yeah.
all this to to go back to that whole like I think it's odd that he's reinterpreting like an album that has come out some time ago now.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And that like his last album was like 2011, I want to say.
Yeah, so why not come out with like a new album?
well-
Like why?
Well, so apparently, like I guess Anti, like the record label he's signed to, is I think they're reissuing a bunch of his stuff.
Oh, okay. So maybe to coincide.
So it makes me think that possibly there might be a new album on the way.
Yeah.
Because like when I'm thinking about it, like as bad as me was 2011, and it's so it's been like 6 years since then, and he showed up on Letterman when during the last Letterman episodes, which was a really funny interview that's worth watching.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he did something. He was like, yeah, I saw all these people outside waving signs, and like all these stores with signs, and they all said something about freeing the glutens, and I don't know what the hell they were talking about, but it's like,
That's funny.
yeah. So I think that would be really cool to see something come out. Which speaking of singer songwriters that are reclusive and need to come out with something soon, Scott Walker, that would be cool.
Nice segue.
Yeah,
That
give me like I wish we could like how like people do like like I remember like in elementary school like they'd make us do like a rain dance basically like I want to do a Scott Walker dance.
Scott Walker. I do have a little bit more hope that he might have something sooner than he's had in the past, because obviously he's taken such a long fucking time between his newer albums, but he had Bish Bosh, and then he did
Did that soundtrack.
that was in I think 2012 Bish Bosh came out, And then I think a couple years, like 2 or 3 years later, he did Soused with Son.
Soused.
Soused, whatever the hell you say it. It's a weird fun word. And then he did that soundtrack.
Yeah, which was last year. I'm pretty sure.
So I mean, he he's gone entire decades without doing anything. Just prepping his next project, and now he's already dropped 3 in a few year span. So maybe that's just I don't know.
I feel like that's like almost like an exception, because I think
it very well could be, yeah.
Like, because I mean, I remember watching his documentary. Which did you ever get a chance to watch that?
I think I did. Yeah, I think so.
It's really good, but because I think he took a lot of time off before Tilt, and then I think he was a little more regular between Tilt and the Drift, and like the Drift and Bish Bosh. So you never know. And I think sometimes it depends on sometimes what work inspires him and what people inspire him. Because I mean, like Soused was a collaboration, so it's not like he was the only person doing anything, but he was, I mean, at the same time, probably like the lead brain on the album. Like, I think he probably had more control over creative direction than Son did.
Yeah.
Even though it came out, didn't it come out in Southern Lord?
Yeah, it came out in 4AD, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it came out. I think it came out on whatever label Scott Walker typically goes on.
At 480.
Yeah, which is 4AD. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I need to listen to Soused again. I really like that album.
I liked it. It was such an interesting. I would have never guessed that to happen. So like it was kind of,
I don't know. I can see that.
I don't know. Like, I mean, Son has collaborated with a number of people, but they've all pretty, Attila,
Boris,
Shajar, Boris, Earth, and then also, they've done a bunch of different side projects with different, underground doom and avant-garde metal projects. But like, obviously, it worked really well, but like, it just was really interesting to me. Like, I guess I didn't expect it. So going into it, I was like, I didn't have any preconceived notions of what it could sound like, which was good. So just kind of embraced it for what it was. But I would love to see him do more stuff like that. Did I ever tell you the every time we listen to Scott Walker, Lauren reiterates, every time we listen to his music, she pictures him in a black tuxedo playing piano on a stage with a white mask and white gloves. And then he's conducting a bunch of people in black leotards and like white gloves and white masks doing interpretive dance. Like that
sounds pretty apt.
That is she says every time this I just picture like interpretive dance, like avant-garde, like theater. And I was like, well, probably.
You know what comes to my mind when you describe that to me is Sander Cohen's level in BioShock.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it reminds me a lot of that.
Exactly.
Like maybe like I mean I think Scott Walker's probably just like a regular dude, but like I don't know, it would make me giggle a little bit just to see him do like a Sander Cohen type of thing, just like run around, it just like just do some batshit insane things. Like you could completely encase people in cement to make statues out of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
she's had some fun. She's had some fun. Descriptions of my music. Like, we were listening to one of the dancier songs in the back end of Homogenic. I don't remember what.
All Is Full of Love?
Whatever one like is actually like a 4 to the floor like.
Oh yeah, I maybe I do know that there are like a couple different versions of that song. So
there's one sure. Whatever song it was, she was like, I feel like this is the soundtrack to a club that you can only get in after midnight and you need 3 passwords. And I was like, well. Like, she always has the most creative descriptions. I love it.
Yeah. Oh man, you should do is get her to just play some really weird, like even weirder stuff for her, and just have her write them down, and we'll like just have an episode just talking about them.
Yeah, she's. I'll have to have her do that more often. Like when we listen to the new God, or not that at the time it was A World Lit Only by Fire by Godflesh.
Yeah.
She just did like loud noises, soft noises, sick beats, like just a bunch of like funny like like stream of consciousness phrases about what she was hearing. It was
speaking of, so you like the new Godflesh album, or?
I do. I like it a lot. Impressed that they've kind of come back with a bang, and I really like how they kind of split up their comeback albums. I don't know if this was intentional, but they come back with a World Lit Only by Fire, which is pretty much Street Cleaner Part 2. It's better produced, heavier, like newer, and it's heavy as fuck, really metal. A little bit more of the heavier, harsher post metal stuff they started to toy with, but nothing too bad. And then Post Self is kind of the post punk ish kind of post metal, like the more experimental side of their sound that they explored on albums like Pure, Songs of Love and of Hate, Selfless, and stuff like that.
Except that it probably has the most, like, it probably has the ugliest cover out of their entire discography.
It's. I mean, it's
horrendous.
Yeah, it's not great. It looks like a still of a B-list 80s sci-fi horror movie. Not even B-list, like C.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looks like. Yeah.
D movie.
But I really like it a lot, and I also like the fact that they just kind of were like, yeah, we're putting out an album. Here it is. I think there was maybe like a month between when they announced to when it was coming out.
Yeah, see, I really wish more bands would do that, but I think with like social media the way it is, I think people are riding that wave.
Yeah.
That, like people have the ability to cling on to anybody's words.
Yeah.
So, I think they're trying to do that. They're trying to make that hype last as long as it can.
Yeah, exactly.
And which really sucks because like it ends up ruining it for some other people, I think. And not necessarily because it's hype. It's just like if you're just gonna keep talking about how good your fucking record is, like I don't know, like just like the whole bullshit before the announcement thing, like like the whole PR tours and things like that, and just
like keep your eyes peeled. We're announcing an announcement tomorrow.
Announcing the announcement.
It's honestly like for a while, like in our Heavy Blog family group, whatever, we joke about that stuff.
Oh yeah.
And now we don't even joke about it because it's just a thing.
Yeah.
Like that's just what bands do now. Like it used to be weird, like, oh, why are bands announcing announcements? Now like that's just what they do. Like that's just a part of promotion.
I mean, but I think on the other side though, we have like Bandcamp that artists can do whatever the fuck they want with it.
Yeah.
And like like even like a lot of the indie labels that run off of Bandcamp, they do a really good job of like not like shoving it down your throat. Or at least some of them do. I remember like Death Wish was like getting really annoying for me. Like I signed up for their newsletter a while ago, and all I got were emails about that single Burn album that came out this year. Like I cannot describe the amount of emails I got about this one album, and it was so annoying. But like there are some like I think like Profound Lore does a really good job like that.
Yes.
Like they
know exactly how hard to push an album.
Exactly.
I think
Yeah, and like it's not like completely low key. Though I really don't mind a low key release. Like I sort of like that. Like I mean, Death Grip's doing that whole thing with No Love, just like releasing it on the fly. I actually really like that move. I mean, even though it got him kicked off Epic, but
yeah, that would. I mean, like, I guess that's their whole aesthetic, but I think that was kind of a dumb move.
Oh, well, okay. Final couple minutes. What do you think about new Death Grips this year? Maybe?
They might squeak something out right at the end. I mean, that definitely would be in their character. I mean, I think they've released something every year since, 20 whatever. Like
they have, but they did release something this year that was like that, like 20-minute Gabber mix thing,
which
I actually didn't listen to.
I think I heard it was mainly just like, isn't it just Zach Hill like drumming or whatever? Or
I don't know.
I heard a bunch of mixed stuff about it, or I heard a bunch of like different stuff about it, none of which was positive. So like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't enjoyed. I really liked. What was the one? Bottomless Pit. I liked that a lot. I revisited Powers That Be, and I actually didn't like it as much as I remembered it. Honestly, like I don't know why, but like I put it on the other day because I really like the second track on the first album, which I'm not going to say the name of, but whatever that one is, with like the Björk sample on that is like so catchy and cool, and I love the drumming and shit. But like for some reason that album didn't, and then I never really cared for Jenny Death. I mean, it's okay, but I really like Bottomless Pit, and it reminded me that I need to buy that so I can listen to it. But honestly, like if I just had the Money Store, all day every day, like I revisited that I think a couple weeks ago, and I remember why I love that album so much.
I still love No Love Deep Web and Money Store.
Great.
Just like my thing, my jam.
Ex-Military is really cool though.
Ex-Military is cool.
It's not as cohesive and sometimes it's a little jarring. Like, but I fucking love the Money Store.
Come on, Guillotine is great.
Oh, Guillotine's a great goddamn amazing song.
I remember how they were collaborating with that dude who played with like broken glass on his face.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
I am really psyched about that because that guy sounds super cool. Like I would love to see him live. I think that would be like one of the coolest things. Because like he does exactly what I would actually like to do. Well, not literally with the broken glass against my face, but like using contact microphones and then hooking that up to like a pedal board. So you basically just like you're just controlling sound at this point. Like it's just like indiscriminate sound. Like it's and so I don't know, I just think that'd be a really cool idea.
Yeah,
to do. But we'll see if they come out with anything. It would be it'd be cool. I honestly don't see it. I think that they're big enough now that I think they wouldn't do like a surprise release. So, but you never know. You never know with them. So, but
yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's not in their character to go. A year. I mean, I know they released kind of like the mix we talked about and whatever, but like they've released a full length something. I think every year since 2011 with Ex-Military. I think. I don't know if they took a year off.
Didn't they release like was Money Store 2012 or 2011?
Yeah, so the Ex-Military 2011, then Money Store No Love Deep Love 2012, and then
Government Plates.
Government Plates in 2013. 2014 was
Powers That Be Part 1.
Powers That Be, and then
Jenny Death is the next one. 2015
was Jenny Death, and then the Powers That Be, and then Bottomless Pit was in 2016. Yeah, so if they don't drop something, it'll be the first time in like 6 years that they haven't dropped a full length project.
Yeah, I don't know because I mean like like Zach Hill's side projects have been putting out stuff, so not that that's really great, but whatever.
Yeah,
like they're keeping busy, so
yeah, no, and I'll be interested in what they do next. So whenever that comes, it comes.
All right. Well, we're getting a little over an hour here, so
yeah. Wow, Jesus.
let's sign off now. So it was good. It was good talking, man. So
absolutely.
And we'll talk to you guys next week. See you.
Bye.
Torture guard.